Hi, welcome to another episode of This Dev Life. Good to see you again today. My name is Bidemi, and today I have with me Rizel. She is a developer advocate at TBD. Hi, Rizel.
Hey, what's going on? Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for joining today. Okay, so I'm very excited, and I know you can tell because I've been excited even before I started recording. So, could you please tell me a bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. A bit about me. Like you mentioned, I'm a developer advocate, particularly at a company called TBD. And a lot of people think that stands for like to be determined, like they don't know what the, the company should be. But I believe it stands for to be decentralized, and it's a company that's owned by Block along with like Title and Cash App. But yeah, I'm just doing that work over there.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, so could you expand a bit on what you do at TBD?
Yeah. So as a staff developer advocate at TBD, I'm really trying to get people um, uh, to feel empowered or other developers to feel empowered with using our tooling, our developer tooling. So that might include like just creating awareness through blog posts and like technical talks, or that might be helping them solve different problems. So I might see them on like social media or Discord say, oh man, this was hard to get done. I might directly help them, or I might create content around like, hey, here's how you would get this done, and like help unblock them essentially.
That sounds amazing. More like teaching people how to do things in real time, right?
Yeah, yeah. And I just talked about to you like off stage about like how
Yeah.
I love teaching people.
Amazing, amazing. So tell me how you got into tech.
Yeah. So the way I got into tech was I guess it's a long journey, so I don't want to keep it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll keep it like succinct. But basically, I initially like went to college for psychology, and I was only able to stay for like a semester. So one because of financial reasons, and then another because I am not like or at the time I was not a permanent resident of the United States. So they were like, hey, you're not allowed to go here, and then also you don't have any money. So I ended up having to like go home, and I was like so sad and depressed. I was like, dang it, I really wanted to go to college. So, because in my head, like all I wanted to do was make money. I'm like, all I want to do is go to college and eventually make money. But then I started Googling how to make money and like what job gives you the most money. And I kept coming across like different technical roles. So throughout that time, I decided I'm going to enroll in a community college, learn some technical things, and like my career progressed from there. I got like a help desk technician role. I became a software engineer through a coding boot camp. I got my bachelor's in computer science, and then after that, like I told you, I taught people how to code at a coding boot camp, and I was like, yo, I really like this. I like teaching people. So then I switched into developer advocacy. So that's kind of how I got in because I wanted to make some money.
Okay, I think money motivates everyone eventually.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for sharing your story.
of course.
It's actually very, very insightful, especially when you said that you were not even a resident here then, and then you really wanted to go to college. So, okay, could you tell me how long you've been in tech?
Yeah, I think I've been in tech maybe since 20, I hope I'm not lying, like maybe 2016 or so.
Mhm.
So during that time, maybe 2015, 2016, I was like in help desk. And then
Okay.
I became a software engineer in 2018.
Ah, that's so amazing. And you're a staff developer advocate now.
Yeah,
You
I'm
can be
sad.
anything. Congratulations. I love it so much.
Thank
Um,
you.
so there's this part where I was speaking with someone yesterday, and he said one thing he loves about the US is that when you work hard, it actually eventually shows up in
Yeah.
your career, in your life, and everything. So it's not like you're just doing the work and there's nothing to show for it. So congratulations once again.
Thank you. Yeah, I like that too. That like you can go up the ranks, I guess, if so to
Yeah.
say, and just have that reflected. And for me, like for a long time, one of the reasons why I was like really adamant about being staff is like, okay, a lot of people were like, oh, titles don't matter. But every job that I signed up for, I guess I had imposter syndrome. I will always sign up for a junior role. Like I would be like, I'm
Mm.
going to be a junior software engineer. When I switched to a new company, still junior software engineer. Like I was too scared to go into like a higher level. So then it had everybody thinking, even when I became a developer advocate, I was a junior developer advocate. It had everyone thinking Rosella is like new to tech and doesn't know how to like code. So I was like, you know what? It's important for me to get to that level and then also to kind of open more doors for other like Black people.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. So, when you were interviewing for this role, was it advertised as a staff role?
Yeah, it was advertised as a staff role. I think this is the only job that I ever was like, you know what? I'm just gonna I'm gonna go for it.
But what was the imposter syndrome then? What was it like
When I was
when
interviewing,
you were interviewing?
oh my
Yes.
gosh, it was crazy. It was I had crazy imposter syndrome. I was like, oh my god, I'm usually interviewing for junior. I don't know what they will want from me. And then also because what TBD is building is such a new technology and such a huge paradigm shift, it was taking me a bit of time to um wrap my head around how everything worked. I think the thing that helped for me was that like I I have a history of being able to like showing that I'm a good developer advocate. So I think that worked in my favor.
Okay, amazing. So, forgive me for this, but I'm going to capitalize on what you just said now, which is you have a very good way of showing that you're a developer advocate. How do you show that?
Yeah, I show it by like learning in public as much as I can. I think sometimes like people join a company as a developer advocate and they're like maybe they're coding, but they don't always show that they're coding. They want to
Hmm.
like wait until they know everything about the product so that they can start teaching people and telling people. But I'll start right away. Like literally this job and GitHub. Like GitHub when I joined, I was like I just made my first open source contribution, y'all. Like
Hmm.
here's my blog post about it. Here's how you can do it too, and same with like TBD. When I joined, I immediately posted a blog post about the information that I knew. So I think what I do is like as soon as I learn something or even during learning something, I'll create content about it, whether it's a video or a blog post.
Okay, amazing. Okay, so I asked you this question once on Twitter, which is, how do you get the energy to do so much? Like, I
Oh
know
my
you're
god.
always putting out content. I know you're always learning in public. How do you get the energy to do all of that?
I don't okay, I mean, I don't know. Okay, you know who someone who has more energy than me and is working with her? I'm like Angie. I've never worked with somebody that like could outwork me. I'm like, wow, Angie, you get so much done. I could never reach that level. Um,
Wow.
yeah, and I think Brian Douglas too, B Dougie who worked at GitHub with me, he has a lot too. I don't know. I think it sometimes looks like I have more energy than I actually have. Like sometimes I'll have like content queued up from like I already wrote this out before, but I'm like, all right, I'm ready to post it now. So it can look like, oh wow, Rizal has a lot. Or maybe I'll go through a season of like multiple podcasts and then they start coming out all at the same time. So maybe I don't have that much energy, but I know how to like I know how to capitalize when because I have moments where it's like for the first 2 weeks of the month I'm like energetic and then the last 2 weeks I'm more chilling. So it's like just pacing yourself, I guess.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Okay, so for people, do you think developer advocacy can be a junior level role? Like you're just coming into tech and this is what you want to do?
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, because I was in a quote unquote junior level role at GitHub, but I wasn't necessarily junior to tech. I
Mm-hmm.
think I think it can be, but
Okay.
I don't I I think you got to be careful if you're new in tech and you're just
Okay.
joining into a DevRel role because one, you don't know if your team, because even just being a junior software engineer in general, when I was a junior software engineer at a startup, they did not have the infrastructure in place to train me. So I ended up
Mm-hmm.
having to like learn and train myself. And I think that
Wow.
helped me to level up really fast. But it's like, it's tough when you don't have any training. So I'm like, if you're new to tech and you join a junior DevRel role, make sure you have enough people in place that show you the ropes. And then two, I think it's valuable to still get that developer experience so you know how to like talk to it and like how to help developers and empower them. I know a lot of people disagree with me and I do see other people who have gone into this role without going into development, but I think I think it's possible, but I don't necessarily recommend it.
Okay, amazing. Thank you so much for that. I think I asked because developer advocacy, I always feel like you have to have like this in-depth level of technical
Oh,
knowledge and not just know it, but also be confident enough to know that you are teaching people the right thing and not
yeah.
the wrong thing. Okay. But thank you so much for that. So, all right. So, away from tech for a minute. What do you do in your spare time?
In my spare time, okay, I have a
Hmm.
problem where I'm a workaholic, but I'm trying not to be. So in my spare time, I like to go to the gym a lot. I like
Okay.
lifting weights a lot. And my goal is at the end of the year. It's a small goal, but I think it's achievable. I want to be able to do 6 pull-ups. Small
Okay.
very small goal, but I'm like, if I could do that, I'm like, yes, I did it. So I love going to the gym. I love like watching Netflix, especially like reality TV shows like Love is
Hmm.
Blind. I'm like, I
Hmm.
love trash reality TV shows. I'm like, ooh. And I like roller skating too. Those are like
All
the
right.
things I do. Yeah.
But I don't see pictures of that on Twitter.
No, I don't do
Why?
I guess I should. I guess I should. One time I posted my roller skates, but I'm like, I don't know. I
No,
guess
no.
I should.
I mean, okay, so I joined Twitter in 2020,
Okay.
and that was like my first introduction to tech. And then I followed a bunch of people, people who were putting out content about tech, about themselves, which is nice. But
Yeah.
then there was also another part, which is people who were putting out their personal lifestyles in addition to what they're doing in tech.
Mm,
It was just so relatable. Like, oh, I
yeah.
don't have to post all tech things all the time, which I love anyway. I don't
Yeah.
do it too a lot. I rarely post personal pictures, but I think it's fun knowing that, oh, there's a different side to this person. I love that they love to have fun, just like me too. So I think it's the relatability in a way, so to speak.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree. I still like to post about tech on my
Hmm.
channels. But
Yeah.
I'm like, anything else I got going on, even if it's a little joke, I'll post
Hmm.
it because, like you
Okay.
said, I'm not one dimensional.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. Okay, so what are your hobbies aside lifting weights?
Aside from lifting
Mm-hmm.
weight, oh man, I like writing.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I think you can see that through my technical blog post, and I'm trying to get back into it. Like this, I started writing before I got into tech, and I really enjoy writing. I think it's fun.
Okay.
Other stuff, man, I it's very bad that like I think like a huge problem. I don't know if this is relatable or not. Is that like I just mostly work, which is not it's not great.
Mhm.
I just I enjoy working, but I'm trying to think what other hobbies I have. I ended up like picking up hobbies from my husband, I guess. Like he really likes watching anime. I'll watch that.
Mhm.
He loves going to the movie theaters. I'll go with him. But like my
Okay.
main life is just like I code and go work,
Hmm.
and then I like go to the gym a lot.
Okay.
Like that's my main thing. But yeah,
Hmm.
I need to
But going
get
to the gym sounds fun too. Very much so.
I need to get more hobbies though.
Okay, so for people who just want to start writing, who are
Mm.
new to writing, who don't know how it works, what advice would you give them? How would you tell them to get started?
Yeah, honestly, I think sometimes people overthink writing too much. Like they're like stuck on like one word or one sentence or they don't move forward. To me, I'm like just let your stream of consciousness flow, like write as much as you can and then once you're like, yo, I got everything on the page that I wanted to say, you can go back and reread it, delete sentences, edit. But I think a lot of people when they want to get started, they hold themselves back because they're like, oh, that sentence doesn't sound right or whatever. I'm like, just write whatever you would say out loud and then go back and edit it. And I also think that helps to keep your authentic voice. I think a lot of times people are like trying to replicate a certain voice that's not their own and it makes it much harder.
Thank you so much. So just keep writing. You don't have to think it too much. Just
Yeah.
write and then you can come back and edit.
Yeah.
That's what people say. Like when you get your voice flowing, your inner voice flowing, everything works out good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So far, I've learned a lot from you. your hobbies, how long you've been in tech. Okay, so how did you land your first role?
How I landed my first role, like my
Mm.
first technical role?
Yes, yes.
Oh, that's a good question. Okay. I think I landed it by there's a lot of roles that I consider my first role. So I'm gonna talk about my first software engineering role because I'm like,
Okay.
oh, that was my first internship, and like that doesn't count. My first
Hmm.
software engineering role is I like messaged the recruiter
Okay.
and I was like, "Hey, I really want to work here." I was just finishing up a software development internship, and they were considering they had offered me like a full-time position, but I was like, the pay's kind of low, so I want to go ahead
Okay.
and interview more. Like that's
Hmm.
when jobs were popping, so I was like, I have leverage. So I like messaged the recruiter. I'm like, "Hello, I applied to this role, but I would love to chat with you. Da 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 da. Here's my resume." And she ended up like talking to me. I went through the interview process, and they didn't have like a coding challenge. It was more like a system design. They were like, how would you set up this database for this web application? And I like drew it out on the board, and then I ended up getting the job.
Amazing. You reached out to the person. So in this economy right now,
Yeah.
do you think reaching out would still work?
Um, I think that would increase your chances a little bit
Hmm.
because I think when you just put your resume out there just in the abyss, it's not much happens. So I think maybe getting a referral, like somebody on the inside that can like flag you, or I mean, if you want to be bold like me, you can try to message the recruiter, but right now thousands of people are applying to like one job. So you got to do
Hmm.
something to get their attention a little bit more.
Yeah, okay, amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So one last question. Um, what have been your challenges since you've been in tech?
Ooh, that's a good question. I've had a couple of challenges. I think, like I mentioned to you in one of my first roles, I didn't get like the mentorship that I needed, and I may
Hmm.
have been experiencing a little bit of unconscious bias from folks. So
Wow.
there's like yeah, like a little bit of like racism, I guess. So that was like one challenge, and I didn't realize that I was experiencing unconscious bias. I thought it was a reflection of me. So it kind of like put down my self-esteem on my
Hmm.
coding skills, which goes back to when I was saying like the imposter syndrome of just applying to junior roles.
No rules.
And then other struggles or challenges. I think right now I'm learning. It's not like a negative challenge. It's just another learning curve or something I have to get over. I'm like in this very new space in fintech, like a field I don't know too much about, and I'm learning like how to understand these concepts and package them in a way that the company likes it and that other engineers are able to consume. So I'm still that's a quote unquote current challenge that I have that I'm still getting over. Yeah.
Thank you for being vulnerable and sharing that. All right, thank you so much. I really enjoyed talking to you. I hope I talk to you again sometime soon. It's been enlightening, informative, and actually very much fun.
Oh, thank
So thank
you.
you so much. It's wonderful meeting you. I guess I'll talk to you again some other time.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you for having me. It was fun.
Yeah, thank you so much. All right, bye.